My 24F boyfriend, 29M, broke a chair during an argument. I've kicked him out. My boyfriend and I have had a bit of a rocky past in our relationship as we both have a lot of mental health issues and trauma. Well, recently he moved in a few months ago and was unemployed during that time. He quit his previous job due to the stress, without another lined up. I kept us afloat while he was actively searching for jobs. I work from home, so it got a bit too much at time having him there all the time while I worked. He was depressed during the time he was unemployed, and so was I, so there were times where I felt like I was cleaning his dishes for meals he solely made for himself, taking care of his pets, making him nice meals while also cleaning up those dishes. He helped with my dog a lot and expressed to me he felt insecure about being unemployed, and didn't want to feel like my assistant. I understood, but I also didn't want things to become one-sided while I was actively working because he had an ego complex about helping. Well, he has landed a job lately, still waiting until his first paycheck to pay me back. He's become enthralled in his workout routine and diet, really not much caring about much besides himself it seems. He wakes up earlier than me to make himself food, etc., but yet still doesn't feed his cats. He leaves his pots and pans in the sink from meals he made just for himself, of which I silently clean. He comes home and just wants to chill. All the while, I also work, and after work I do chores and cook nice meals for both of us. He gets on me about working out because I'm depressed, but if I were to find time to work out, then who is going to help with pets, chores or dinner? We got in a fight the other day because I left a dish from a meal I made both of us in the sink for about a day over the weekend. I was tired and didn't want to clean it right away. I also left out some cardboard boxes from a shipment from Chewy for food for both our pets. He bitched at me about both those things. Also, mind you, I had cleaned up the pan already. All the while I was making sushi for us. I was sad and told him I wanted to feel appreciated. I was wearing a cute dress just to impress him at home together. When he was bitching at me, I countered back to defend myself because of all the things I had listed out earlier in this thread. He called me a court and stormed outside. When he came back inside, I told him to leave for the night, and proceeded to tell him he was a self-centered partner. This is when he threw a dining room chair at the wall and it broke, and left 3 holes in the wall. At this point my rescue puppy was so scared she hid for the rest of the night. I burst into tears and told him to leave immediately. He told me later that he was so embarrassed, broke it in the head of the moment and it was thoughtless. Said he would replace the chair and fix the wall. The dining table set was a housewarming gift from my dad and stepmother, so I asked him to personally explain to them why it was going to be missing now. He did call up my dad, and explained the situation and attributed all the stress to him being unemployed with no money. I can't stop crying. I don't know how we are supposed to move on from this. I don't want to stay and have this sort of stuff happen in the future. I know he won't even consider therapy for months because he's currently saving back up his money. I bought us non-refundable plane tickets and concert tickets to a vacation in October, and now I have figured that out too. We had a whole future planned out. I love him and don't want to break up, but this is just crossing a line. Considering we've had a rocky past before, this really breaks down my trust and faith in the relationship. I have mental health issues and trauma too. This whole thing has put me in a really dark headspace. Don't worry about the tickets or vacation plans. You can take a friend or gift it away. Worry about the rest of your life. You don't want to stay in a relationship that you are unhappy with. And it's going to be more difficult to get out with time. And, BTW, you can love someone and still be unhappy in that relationship. But love comes and goes. You did the right thing, and you are in the right state of thinking. He is becoming self-absorbed and he is putting everything on you. I wouldn't be surprised if he blamed you for stupid things in his life. You want a partner in crime, not a big baby to babysit. He is being manipulative and abusive. Having problems is part of being human, but if we are not actively working on them, then we are not doing our part for the relationship. A partnership isn't 50-50. You should both give it your all every day, and he isn't even giving 1% to help. I think it may be time to weigh out your options. Chances are he won't change. The only way he will is if he wants to. It's going to be an endless cycle of him snapping and apologizing or doing something to make up for it. I've been like that and it's a horrible traumatic thing to do someone. I don't think anyone wants to be in a relationship of constant fear, wondering what's going to make him snap next and walking on eggshells 24/7. There's no excuse for his behavior. He views you as a housewife. There's nothing you can do but break up with him since he's starting to become abusive. Change your locks and tell him to pay you back for 3 months of living expenses and the broken chair. He probably won't though unless he thinks that you will take him back, but it's worth a try. Once you get paid back or you give up on the money, block him everywhere. Since he's a violent person, you might want to get security cameras in case he starts stalking you. Call you dad and ask him what their conversation was like. Your boyfriend sounds like he's treating you like a fucking 1940s housewife. Stop cleaning up after him and cooking for him. You sound great and it sounds like he's an unstable person. Honestly, I don't care what the fight is about. Anyone who freaks out and gets physical or breaks things is toxic as hell and not a fully developed human being. Wow, he is really so selfish. You are his partner, not his mom. He is an adult now, not a baby. Very convenient that he broke your items that your family gave to you. Behavior like this is just the start. Heat of the moment, my ass. If a grown-ass man can't keep himself from violent outbursts, then he has no place in your home or your life. I'm sorry for what you've been through already, but it'll only be worse if you take him back at this point. I, 30SM, am in an affair. My partner, 30SF, wants to delay telling her husband. Should I? My sordid little story started a little over 5 years ago. Boy meets girl, they're attracted to each other, but she's already married. Mix a huge cup of young stupidity with 2 pinches of forbidden thrill, and a healthy dose of creative, secretive communications, then subtract all sense of a moral compass, and you end up with an affair. Basically, I am the other guy in an affair and have been patiently waiting for my partner, 30SF, to get her shit together and get her divorce. We got caught once early on, and her husband demanded that she cut contact with me, and go to couples therapy. No contact lasted for about a couple of weeks. Their couples therapy lasted a little longer than that, and about a month and a half later we pretty much picked back up where we left off. It was actually pretty easy, since he traveled for work 2 to 3 weeks out of the month. He would take off for work, and she would pretend like she was not married at all. From there, our sordid stupidity went on like that until lockdown started. When the pandemic first hit, he had to stop traveling completely, and at the same time his brother moved in with the 2 of them. I worked from home, and she had to go into the office, which usually meant that she would end up at my house once or twice a week since nobody else was in her office while her husband worked from home. Prior to lockdown, it was pretty much the same story. When she could get away, she would sneak over. This has gone on for over a year now. Once quarantine ended, his brother got a new job and moved out 2 months ago. Well, now the crisis. Her husband managed to land a new job, and wants her to move a couple of states over for his work. Normally, I would have expected this to end like most affairs do. She dumps her affair partner, and goes to live with her husband happily ever after. Except that is not what she is telling me she wants at all. Oh no, instead, she wants to move with him for 6 months, to prove to him that their relationship does not work, and convince him to get an amicable divorce. She tells me that she wants to get out of her marriage, and that she has not done so fearing harassment, pressure by him and his family. Between her and I it gets even more complicated. She wants me to wait for her to get out, and just be patient with her. Most importantly though, she wants to maintain contact throughout this process, and when, if possible, move close to her. On my end, I had been hoping that she would use this as an opportunity to bail, and make changes, which I have been pushing her to do for a long time, especially during lockdown. I did violate rule number 1 of affairs, and caught feelings for her, so I want her out, but the thought of waiting feels completely untenable. Moreover, her wanting to convince him that they are not good together feels more like she absolutely does not want to admit fault, and is willing to keep treating him horribly until he is willing to leave of his own accord. When we have talked about coming clean before, she threatens to never talk to me again. It's manipulative, and I absolutely believe her. Now I have a decision to make. Do I set off this ticking time bomb now, and walk away knowing that I saved a guy from months or even years of shit from her that he does not understand, or let her try to get out on her own and play along? Too long did not read. Title says it all. I have been the other guy in an affair, and want to know if I should tell the husband? You are in your 30s. How much of your life are you going to piss away on a woman who is only stringing you along? She is never going to tell her husband and is never going to divorce him. Why would she? She has everything she wants, the stable life he gives her, and you on the side. If you keep seeing her, you are a fucking moron and deserve to be alone. Which you will be, because she will get tired of you eventually while you have wasted years that you could have been dating someone who is actually free to be with you. Dude, no. You are blinded AF. This woman isn't going to leave her husband and you shouldn't say shit. Move states away for 6 months to prove it doesn't work, LMFAO. If she was going to leave him for you, would have by now. Do not tell him. And do yourself a favor and cut contact before you end up on an episode of Dateline. No, you shouldn't tell her husband like you're doing him some sort of favor. If you want to actually do him a favor, stop screwing his wife. You end the relationship. That's all. You don't pretend to help her husband. You end things and let her figure her shit out. End it. Don't look back, but do recognize you wasted many years on a crap lady. You sound perfect for each other. She has the perfect excuse to end the marriage, moving, and she's not taking it. She's never leaving him for you, buddy. She could do that right now. She doesn't even have to tell him in order to leave him. I don't recommend telling him, since you can't make this anonymous and she knows where you live. It sounds like she has been stringing you along for 5 years now. What a waste of 5 years for everyone. You've already been caught once and she still didn't get divorced. If you tell her husband, he'll likely divorce her, but I'd bet money she would dump you for telling him. She tells me that she wants to get out of her marriage, and that she has not done so fearing harassment, pressure by him and his family. And moving will fix that when 5 years of this nonsense hasn't, because she wants to maintain contact throughout this process, and when, if possible, move close to her. So more like you uproot your whole life so you can keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, then. Dude. Come on. If this is the level of guile with which she strings guys along, both you and her husband have either been willing participants in this farce all along, or unable to face reality even when it hits you with a clue by 4. Take your own damn advice about needing to make a change and just walk away already. My 20F fiancé, 25M, is mad at me for not defending him in front of my best friend, 20F. I'm having an arranged marriage with the son of one of our closest family friends. We practically grew up together but never had much interaction due to our age gap. And I even used to call him uncle, because he is my maternal aunt's cousin. So, we are still a bit awkward with all of this. We had our engagement a few weeks back with only close relatives, no friends, attending the ceremony. Since then we had been daily texting each other. My fiancé has been very sweet to me, which has surprised me. Before, he would rarely spare a glance at me and sort of judged the people I hung out with. Yesterday, I decided to treat my friends to a meal because of my engagement. From the very start, my best friend seemed very irritated. She was pissed that I didn't invite her and that I was marrying an backdated prick. I told her that I liked him and that felt we were compatible enough, multiple times. Then she started to make jokes about how guys of our ethnicity, we are all of the same ethnicity BTW, had small dicks and she would never marry one. This of course made me uncomfortable, but all our other friends were laughing. Anyway, I had called my brother to pick me up earlier on. But he decided it would be better if my fiancé picked me up so that we could have some alone time. I didn't know that he had arrived earlier and heard the joke. He didn't say anything in front of them, but when we were in the car he was awfully quiet. When asked him if something was wrong, he, in a very cold tone, said that I had disappointed him, that I should have told off my friend for making such disgusting remarks. He hasn't reached out to me since. I understand where he's coming from, but it feels unfair that my friend made the joke and he's taking out his anger on me instead. I did want to defend him, but my best friend is petty. She knows some secrets about me that might ruin my reputation and often jokes about it when we're alone. If I had said something in front of my other friends, she definitely would have retaliated. I have been trying to reach out to my fiancé in order to apologize, but he is avoiding me. I'm a bit annoyed that he can withdraw from our relationship just like that. How do I get out of this unscathed and without pissing off either of them? Edit. I forgot to mention that my fiancé and I are both virgins. We are not comfortable with premarital sex. So, I don't know his dick size and frankly speaking, I don't care too much about it. Oh okay, then what if you heard her best friend badmouthing about your looks and your body? And you see your fiancé just acting normal like nothing wrong is in it. Will you be doing great after that? She definitely would have retaliated. Friends don't retaliate. This person is not your friend. I'm not sure why you think they are. Sounds like you need to lose your friend. I rather be alone than have a friend who would spill out my secrets before others and think it's okay to make fun of my spouse when you have repeatedly told her that you like the guy. On the other hand, yes, it is unfair for your fiancé to be angry at you, but obviously he is human and anyone would be. Put yourself in his shoes. What if you walk into your fiancé and his friends making fun of you? How would you feel? Give it some time but continue to try and apologize to your partner. However, you will need to show him that he is more important than your friend, but you have to decide how. Why is this person your friend? She's mean, rude and is blackmailing you. I don't understand why this is someone you're taking out for a treat or even talking to. Next time you see your friend alone, explain that in the future you won't be comfortable with jokes that insult your fiancé. She might be embarrassed and humbled to know that he overheard her, and it bothered him. If she can't respect your request for the insulting jokes to stop, then it's up to you to either defend your fiancé as your friend says hurtful things, or cut back on time with this friend to satisfy him. Let your fiancé know that you've spoken to your friend about it and asked her not to make such rude jokes. That should be enough to show him that you respect him, in my opinion. Yeah, this wasn't cool. Your fiancé is right to be upset. It wasn't fair that you sat there and did nothing. So you too are complicit, because you didn't defend him and you chose to be friends with someone who behaves like that. He may be reconsidering the marriage and he wouldn't be overreacting. Your friend didn't make a joke. She was just being cruel. Would you be okay if your fiancé's friends made rude remarks about your body, and he then just sat there? You should have defended him. That was too far. The young woman also is not your true friend. Friends do not retaliate. Apologize to him. Have his back when he is not around from now on. Especially when people are stereotyping him. As far as the secrets, who cares, everyone has them. No one is perfect. Only people with an ego want to hold a reputation. You could easily dismiss the gossip if she spills the beans. If she has no proof, her words are not tangible, it would be a he say she say ordeal. In which adults with lives would not care about anyways. Stop using that you avoid conflicts at all costs to deflect not defending your fiancé or dealing with your friend's internalized racism. It just makes you seem like you're not old enough mentally to be getting married. You need to see a therapist who can grow you a backbone. 22F. Think the guy I've been seeing, 21M, has been stealing from me and I don't know what to do. So I've been talking to this guy, L, for about 5 months, and until yesterday it's been great. The conversations are great and the sex is great. Both L and I smoke weed, but him more than me because he has more free time during the day due to the nature of our jobs. Now for the past few weeks I've been noticing that when I get ready to smoke on my own I have less weed in my bag than I remember having. At first I just chalked it up to me forgetting how much weed I smoked like the stoner I am. But now I'm not sure. Whenever I go visit L I always bring my weed in a specific bag because it has everything I need and it's smell-proof. This bag also has a lock, but I don't use it all the time because it's honestly hard to open when you're already high. Anyway, I visited L yesterday and at first it was a regular day. We met up, smoked, watched some anime, had sex, and then I knocked out for a few hours. When I woke up we went to go smoke again, but when I took out the weed bag something made me pause. I mentioned that the bag had a lock and that lock is in the middle of the bag. Whenever I zip the bag closed I always put the zippers in the middle of the bag where the lock is. But the zippers were all the way at the end. I never close it like that. Then when I opened it and took out the weed there was about half missing. And I know it was half missing because I remember how much was left from when we smoked earlier in the day. I didn't say anything in the moment because it was like midnight and I just wanted to light up and go home. But I also didn't know how to even address the issue. I'm not even mad about the weed. We live in a legal state and I could always get more. I'm mad about the fact that L has possibly been purposely putting me in a dick coma to steal from me and I don't like that. The thing is I would have given him some if he just asked. I want to confront him but I wouldn't know how to go about doing that. Should I even talk to him about it? A part of me wants to just cut him off but another part of me wants to just let it go. I don't know how to handle this situation and I feel like my judgment might be clouded, so please give me any advice you can. Thanks in advance. Next time be like, my dude, you took way too much of my weed, like half is missing. Don't phrase it as a question, he's just gonna lie. Being a fellow stoner, I totally resonate with the, if he just asked, I would have given him some. What he is doing is wrong. Maybe he feels like he can get away with it, maybe he's embarrassed to ask. Either way be blunt and say how you know he has been pinching your weed. That you enjoy your time with him but feel violated. You would share if he asked. Etc. etc. If he were to own up to it right away, then I would consider keeping him around if he means something to you. If he denies it, cut that dude loose. So many more men out there who will buy you weed versus stealing it. Good luck friend and take care. You weren't born yesterday, you're a smart cookie. Hey, I dated this guy. It doesn't stop at weed. Go home and break up. You can't trust him. Send him a Venmo request for the stolen weed and stop seeing him. Maybe say it while laughing in a light-hearted way. Bruh, have you been taking some of my weed? The bag is like half gone. You know the answer. How he reacts will tell you the type of person he is. High or not emo. If he denies it at all, I'd say cut all contact. Who knows what else he'd lie about straight to your face. And who knows what else he'd try taking from you or what he'd see he could get away with. You know your own bag and how it goes down. You have been noticing it along. I would not trust him now. Only bring significant other much and leave your bag home, and when LV sits, leave out so much too. I am not sure I could trust him now with any money, honey. Sounds like more than a downer to me. Stay alert. Why bother confronting? No matter what he says, you know that it's over. He'll either lie or make up some flaky excuse. If you need to confront for closure, then go ahead. But you might as well just leave his ass, and if he asks why, then tell him, you know why, and then block him. Ask him, dude, you been talkin' my weed. Simple.